Welcome. You are zooming in or videoing in to join me around the campfire. It's been specially requested that I read a portion of the recent book, God Show Me More of You. So you are going to pull up by the fire. I've got my cozy blanket. The fire is nice and warm. I even have my tea warm up around the campfire. Ooh, that feels good around the hands. And I'm going to read to you a portion of the book that just recently came out. It's been a beautiful journey, and I'm going to show you a glimpse of what God's been up to. Here goes. This is from a portion that, now the book has my story in it, and then several stories of women that I have coached all around the world, and then some keys. And this story is one of my favorites. At one of the recent book signing, I was asking people what their favorite parts of the book was, and this question was asked back to me, and I thought to myself, it's this one that I'm about to share with you. So it goes like this, and again, this is from the book, God Show Me More of You, Encountering God Out of the Box. It's from a portion in chapter 3. And the section is entitled, Dad Taught Me How to Race Cars. And it starts off with Matthew 16:19 and 18:18. It goes like this. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. I grew up with a dad who taught me how to drive and fix cars. He taught me the scriptures and physics by day in a local high school, and at night he was a popular mechanic. I would often escape to the garage with him to help change the oil on a neighbor's car or hand him tools while he was laying underneath the car on a flattened piece of cardboard box. We also raced cars together in the local car club when I was a teenager. I remember racing our street cars on mall parking lots around pylons on Sunday afternoons when the malls were closed and the parking lot was safely roped off. We also raced on the frozen lake in the cold Saskatchewan winter on a closed circuit course. Drifting around the corners while pulling the e-brake was an absolute thrill. It was such freedom. I can still feel the joy and elation as I recall the memories. The first car race I was allowed to enter was when I was 13 years of age, 3 years before legal driving age. My dad coached me while sitting in the passenger seat the whole way. As a result of his gentle instruction, amazingly, I came in first in the women's division, placing above other women who had been driving and racing for years. Dad came in first overall, and I came in second, right behind him. Overall. Everyone was in shock, including me. This memory I share above, when Dad handed me the keys to the car to enter that first race while he sat in the passenger seat coaching me along the way, is a powerful one for me on so many levels. As I walk with clients through their journeys, I realize that my upbringing as a young girl was uniquely empowering. The memory provides me with a metaphor that points to my calling. For me, it all starts from a relationship with God, just like my dad entrusted me with the car keys and then coached me along the way. If I had been given the car keys to race, but did not have Dad's expertise and coaching for every turn of the race, I know I would not have come in first place in my division. I needed both the relationship and the keys. God has given you and me His authority rooted in His relationship. If we rely on Him, choosing to hear His voice, He helps us discover a key for each situation we find ourselves in. I find he does this each time I am invited into a journey with friends, family, students, and clients. John 15:5-8 shows us how it must all start from relationship. Yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask for anything you want and it will be granted. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. As a result of remaining in Jesus and following his voice, I am continually given practical keys for each person I have the honor of walking with. That story, that childhood story, is one of my favorites. What I didn't put in the book was how it came to that situation. You see, I had originally just been along for the ride, watching Dad. I went to watch my own dad race in this race, and I was standing beside my dad between his times to race, and we were watching other people race. And the race coordinator saw me and my dad standing side by side, and he came over and stood next to me. So it was me, my dad on my left, and the race coordinator here came right beside me on the right. And and he looked at me and he said, "Would you like to try? And would you like to race?" And I saw he was serious. And I said, "Well, I don't have my license. I'm not old enough. I don't have my car license yet." And his reply was, "Oh, you don't need a license. It's a closed circuit course." So I looked to my dad. "Dad, can I?" And right away, you know, just the joy and the excitement. He's like, "Sure." Oh my goodness. So we found a helmet small enough for my head. I have a small head as it is, but you know, being so young. Anyway, I got a helmet and I was so excited. I remember sitting in the passenger seat, or in the driver's seat. This time it was the driver's seat. My dad comes in the passenger seat, and he's just encouraging me. He's so excited. He believes in me. There was no fear. It was just all excitement. And gave me, you know, a few things, encouragements before we left. And I remember the person with the flag went down and we took off. And as I'm going around turning left, okay, I accidentally hit the blinker and I'm signaling to go left as I'm turning left. I'm like, oh my goodness. I keep going. He tells me when to pull the e-brake so that I can drift around the pylon, around the corner. And we go around through the course, and then we come across the finish line. The flag goes down. The person with the timer stops the timer, and people are cheering. And I'm just like, oh, that just felt awesome. I love it. And then to be completely surprised to discover that I actually did okay. I did well. And people are laughing and saying, that was amazing. That was so good. Just one thing. You don't have to signal. This is a race. I'm like, I know. I accidentally signaled. But to discover that I did well, I had my dad's encouragement the whole way. People were excited and cheering. And in the end, I placed right after my own dad. That memory is amazing on so many levels, as I just described in the book. It's such a strong metaphor. And so there's more in the book that explains how the Lord really has taken that picture of my calling and unpacked it from my own life of relationship and who he is and what kind of God he is. He is so good, and he loves to see us thrive and just enjoy what he's gifted us with. And so there's also stories in the book of other people just encountering more of who God is and how it plays out in their life. It's been such a beautiful ride, a beautiful story. And so I encourage you to just get yourself a copy. There's paperback or Kindle on Amazon, or if you're local to me. I love it. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's somebody with a loud muffler taking off. I'm like, perfect. But get a copy. If you're local to me, there's also the local bookstore called House of James, which has been amazing, just how they have hosted, and it's currently on the bestseller bookshelf, and it's in 4 different places in the store right now. But get yourself a copy and just peruse through it, chew on it. When people get a copy of this book, they sometimes read it all once and then go through it again and chew on every section, every chapter, or people go on through it very slowly and chew on every chapter, because there's a story and there's some key principles, and then there's some activations at the end of every chapter that you can take to the Lord and dialogue with him. And it's been amazing to see and receive your messages and your stories of how the book is making an impact in your life. And what's coming ahead is, after this video, in the new year of 2020, we are going to be gathering on Zoom, a bunch of us, and could be you too included. If you read the book and have an encounter with the Lord as a result of reading the book, and you have a story to share, would love for you to let me know about it, to reach out. Just go to merriellen.com. There's a place where you can contact me and just share it with me with the story, what has happened. And then in the new year, we're going to gather on Zoom, and we're going to unpack this book even further. And we could be inviting you to share your story as well. So get a copy of the book and join us. Sign up for the newsletter on my website to be notified of when that is happening in the new year in 2024. Thanks for joining me around the fire pit with me and my dog.